Hello, I'm TheZOMBIEJ. Canisters. These pieces of plastic, different plastic than ABS. Each have a lid, or so you hope. They smell like plastic on the inside. They contain the Lego parts, or in this case Bionicle parts, and instructions, and perhaps a poster, or something extra like a CD. Lego has a history with canisters. Started all the way back with sliders and Robo-Riders. I think that's the first thing to have canisters of some sort. Plastic boxes for the most part. Then in 2001, these came out, which these tied into the story of Bionicle, because the Toa arrived, disassembled and whatnot, into these canisters. And Lego went all the way with these. I have two Tahoe Mata canisters. I don't know why I have two, but I do. One actually came with my Tahoe Mata up there. The other one I found at a thrift store, full of parts. Anyway, as time went on, canisters got more and more interesting, but there was also some simplistic ones. But they also got little fucking expensive for Lego to procure, or to create. So, Bionicle obviously used the bulk of the canister thing. There was also some Lego racer vehicles, little tiny little things that you build that had canisters. I remember having one. It was like some kind of monster truck-like thing, tiny little thing with big wheels with chrome exhaust things back. You probably know what I'm talking about. But it had a sandwich-like canister, but it had a rounded like half-tire lid. That was pretty cool. When Bionicle G1 ended, the stars were the last sets to have canisters. This carried over into Hero Factory, where the heroes had those same canisters, but with different lids. Same thing in, well, Hero Factory 2011. In 2012, the canisters were replaced with bags. That's fucking stupid. Fuck those bags. You can easily just pull out a pocket knife and cut them out and steal all the parts. Wow. Seriously, you can do that. I haven't done it. No, I'm not stupid. But that can be done. The last canisters that were used were for Hero Factory in 2011, as far as I can remember. Everything after that was bags. Then in Bionicle G2, we got cardstock boxes. Again, you could just tear those apart, steal the bags of parts, and what was Lego thinking? It's bullshit. Their decision making is bullshit in general, so. But canisters were, they were an expensive thing to create. As time went on for Bionicle, they got more interesting. Like with the Toa Mari, they had, they had this plastic thing that housed the parts and instructions and whatnot. And on the outside, you had this outer thing that can be used as like a fort sort of thing. In 2008, for the Fantoka, we got a plastic canister with a small plastic lid, and on the outside a thing which kind of reminds me of the atmosphere of Cardanui. And that was pretty cool. So they got more complex as time went on. Then the Mystica and the canisters were a little simpler. It was just a canister and a lid. Glatorians and Glatorian Legends, again. Canister, lid, canister lid. There we go. For the Matoran, the Shadow Matoran, and the Agori, they all had this cardboard or cardstock housing with 2 lids. Top lid, bottom lid. That bottom lid was tacked on for, I don't know, ever. That was pretty cool. It was a waste of resources. Well, not really, because you got some ABS plastic parts. These, there's a lot that can be done with these canisters, with these types of canisters. The Baraki canisters were like slanted, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, I think is what it was called. And there was some uniquity in there as well. The Toa Metru canisters, you take off the lids from 2 canisters and you smush them together to create a storage container, which was used in Legends of Metru Nui. That was pretty cool. The Borak containers in Borakal. You get this plug thing that you plug on the lid, the bottom of the lid, and you plug that part into the ass of the the Borak or the Borakal. And they can hang in their cocoon. Wow. That was some fantastic shit. The Toa Nuva. Similar canisters to these, but not really. Still being unique to the Toa Nuva. The top of the lid can be used as like a suva. For the Toa Nuva, it can be used as a suva as well. The Rakshi canisters are upside down, because the lid is on the bottom and the actual can is up top. With the Vaki, I don't think the Vaki did that. I don't remember. The Vizorak were interesting. They had a canister, then they had a lid, and then inside the lid they had this like clear cap thing that you pull off, and there's a Rotuka spinner. With the Hordika, they did something similar, but it was still the canister. It had a lid, and you can put some Rotukas on there. With the Paraka, oh god. With the Paraka, well, it was just a canister, and it just had a lid. But in the lid was the eye function, and on the front top of the lid there was this, the face of the Paraka. Example would be Zaktan. It'll have a little ABS plastic mold of the face that you can't even use as a fucking mask. That's bullshit. The Toa and Aika. 2 canisters over there. There's, it was just a canister. Then it has this under lid, which where the weapon and the Zammer balls would be housed. And then the overall lid would go on that. That's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure there were some Lego NFL sports sets, Technic-like sets that had canisters as well that you could. I had a couple of those, and those canisters doubled as water bottles because they had the spout thing. You gotta clean it up first before you use it. Fill it up with water, twist on the cap, go on the spout, and yeah. That was pretty fucking cool. Nice reuse of a canister. I don't know what happened to that canister, but that was pretty cool. I'm pretty sure there was a canister type that was used for the dinosaurs back in the early 2000s. Canisters in general for Lego was a cost thing for them. It ended up costing them more to make these canisters than to make a cardboard box. And eventually, you know, they kept the canisters going because it was essential to have a Bionicle with a canister, or what have you. When G2 came around, there was no fucking canister! There was just boxes that you could easily tear apart, and the designs are terrible for those boxes. What the fuck? Canisters are cool. I really like the gimmickry of the canisters. With the Toa Mata canisters, you can obviously see you have this paper sleeve and, you know, do all this sorts of stuff. You can see stuff. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty fucking awesome. It definitely screams nostalgia for me. The fact that I have two of this exact one is just weird, but whatever. You can also put a mask on this one. And you can also put the heads with the masks of the Toa all around here. So, that's cool. I happen to have a Gali Nuva canister here. You could do the same thing. Actually, you could put two heads back to back right there. So yeah, this serves as a Suva. Kind of a nice stylistic looking Suva. And again, the Nuva canisters don't have the thing that the Mata ones do. They were cutting corners, I feel. So, I feel like there's a canister I'm missing, but yeah. The canisters were definitely something that were costing LEGO a lot to make. But in the long run, it was still a nice facet of LEGO history. You get something that has a canister, the satisfaction of having to unscrew the lid, pull out the dump out the parts, scatter the parts around, and just build. The fact this was important. This was an important step in LEGO's evolution in housing their sets in some kind of box-like thing, or even a canister. Like this. And this was something that was incredibly important. It was a nice thing that LEGO decided to do. They obviously pulled out a lot of money and resources doing it, but it was 100% worth it. Then they had the audacity to not include canisters in G2. What the flying fuck, LEGO? This was proven because, well, the proof is in the budget being slashed for G2. It was cut in half. It was decapitated. And then some. We didn't get canisters in G2, and that is a damn shame. We got boxes. Now, boxes are still cool, but these boxes were stupid. They had this weird, like, in-angle thing going on, and I didn't like that design of the boxes for G2, for the Toa, for the protectors, for whatever. At least they had a normal box for Skull Grinder and Ikimu. Fine, whatever. But yeah, I like the canister idea for Bionicle. It was definitely something new and interesting at the time. And there was definitely other themes that were doing the canister. It started with fucking Slizers and Robo Riders. And those canisters were cool. I remember in Springfield, we were at a store in the mall, and there was a toy store, I think, and I picked up a Slizer box, and I was looking at it, and I was like, this is cool. Didn't get it, though. So I never owned a Slizer. Sad, but true. Plan on getting some Slizers at some point, but, you know. Or Throwbots. But the canister was an interesting and just fantastic idea for LEGO to do. It cost them a lot to do over the years. And as time went on, they got more interesting, but they also got a little more simplistic in a way. They had ribbing, obviously, for structural integrity, so they don't get squished. And then, after the canister was replaced with bags in Hero Factory in 2012, as well as in 2013 with Hero Factory and Legends of Chima. In 2014, it was Legends of Chima again, Fire and Ice. But we didn't get those sets. God damn it, LEGO! If we got canisters in G2, chances are they wouldn't be like this. They would be something completely different. They wouldn't look exactly like this. They would be nothing even remotely like this. This is interesting. You can see there's Tahoe right there. Then you spin the canister around, you see the other Toa, and simultaneously you see a different mask and a Kanoka code, or a can code. Kind of hard to do this. Then this happens too. Yeah, this is fantastic. What happened? Well, it's simple. LEGO needed to save money. Somehow. They needed the money to pour the resources into other projects. And well, even nowadays we still don't get canisters anymore. But I feel it was an important step in their history to give us canisters and plastic boxes of some sort with our sets. It was an interesting idea, it was innovative, and we all enjoyed it. But unfortunately, there are probably some people that actually believe the canisters was a bad idea because it wasn't cost effective. Yes, this was something that cost LEGO quite a bit of money to manufacture these canisters and just to even make them. It was costing them, so they quit. They quit with Hero Factory after 2011, and I'm pretty sure there are other themes that had canisters, but I just can't remember. The ones I just remembered: Slicers, Bionicles, Robo Riders, the little Lego racer things. Maybe there was a Technic set. Oh yeah, the sports things with the water bottle canisters. That's fucking awesome. Hero Factory. What else needs to be said? The canister was just interesting, you know? There's nothing else much I can say, except if you have every single canister from your Bionicle sets as time went on, you must have enough room in your place to house them all, because I certainly don't have enough room. And to be honest, I don't need a second one of these, so if anybody wants this, I guess I can oblige. But, you know, this was an essential part of the Bionicle story, was the canisters, and there's Sharpie on this one for some reason. And it was just a unique facet of what made Lego Lego. Instead of just cardboard boxes, they decided to get a little more unique and creative by giving us canisters. And for this we are very grateful. So these are recyclable, so that's eco-friendly right there, I guess. But you know, collectability is still a thing. That's why I have the canisters that I have, including 2 of this one. So what are your thoughts on Lego and their canisters? Let me know in the comment section below. And well, canisters, were they a good idea? Were they not a good idea? Ultimately, they cost Lego in the long run because it just took a lot of resources to make these. If they outsourced them to another factory or whatever to produce the canisters, then I can understand, but it was still costing them. One day, I hope we get canisters again from Lego. But we're not going to. No. It's just going to cost them even more than they already have. They're trying to save money, not lose money. They're... To be honest, their decision-making is questionable sometimes, but, you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Their company, they need to... they just gotta do what they gotta do, so... But the canisters... pretty fucking cool. And I hope you all enjoy this video. Stay tuned for more videos. I am TheZOMBIEJ. I'll see you folks there. Have a good fucking day, and peace.